Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Elena D'Ambrogio, and I work for the City of Torino in the Innovation, Business and Research Relations Unit within the Department for Ecological Transition, EU Funds, and National Recovery and Resilience Plan. We are at our sixth episode of a Cities Innovate webinar, and it is my pleasure to welcome you all on behalf of the City of Torino. As you know, Cities Innovate is one of the key initiatives launched by the City of Torino in our role as European Capital of Innovation for 24 and 25. But it is not only a series of online meetings. For us, Cities Innovate is sought as a platform for dialogue, a space for real mutual learning among European cities and urban innovators across Europe and beyond, among a network of experts working on innovation across multiple urban dimensions. So, as you know, through the series, we have explored various critical themes for our cities, from climate neutrality to ethical AI, to urban mobility, and to the role of startup ecosystems for social good. Today, we are focusing on a cutting-edge topic at the intersection of technology and urban life. We speak about how to integrate the so-called CCAM technologies in our mobility in our cities. For CCAM technologies, of course, we mean connected, cooperative, and automated mobility. And so today we will discuss with some fellow cities how to leverage these technologies to improve mobility in terms of efficiency, safety and security, and sustainability, with always our citizen at the core. We are particularly proud today of this issue because of a specific policy the city of Torino has underwent, and in particular of a specific project which is called Living Lab to Move, and which will be introduced by our technical partner 5T through Lara Marcellin today. And apart from Torino, we will share our experiences with the further two cities, Espoo and Hamburg, all cities that are very much engaged in innovating in mobility. And of course, as usual, we have a special moderator. Today we have Matthieu, Partner Development Officer at EIT Urban Mobility, a network the City of Torino adhered 2 years ago, and in which it is very active and which really has the power to connect and accelerate innovation in mobilities for city. So a very special thanks to today's speakers from Espoo, Hamburg, and to my colleague from Turin also. And I really invite Matthieu Clouqueur from the EIT Urban Mobility. And I thank you for accepting our invitation and for guiding today's session. So now I leave the floor to you, Matthieu, to moderate this session. Thank you very much and enjoy. And I also remember to put your questions in the chat, and all the speakers will be happy to answer at the end of the webinar. Thank you.
Thank you, Elena. Thank you very much. And greetings to everyone from Munich in Germany, where we have our Office of EIT Urban Mobility for the Central region of Europe. As Elena mentioned, my name is Matthieu Clouqueur. I'm the Partner Development Officer at EIT Urban Mobility. I joined a few months ago. And I want to say first a few words about EIT Urban Mobility and who we are and what we do before we go into today's topic. So EIT Urban Mobility was launched in 2019 as an initiative of EIT, the European Institute of Innovation and Technology. And EIT is a body of the European Union. So we are co-financed by the European Union to fulfill a mission, which is to accelerate the sustainable transition of urban mobility. So we focus a lot on solutions, we focus on technology, we focus on legal aspects, we focus on commercial aspects, we focus on all the aspects that are important to consider in order to transform urban mobility and make it more efficient, have a lower impact on the environment, and in the end provide more livable or better conditions, more livable cities for the citizens. The way we do that is by bringing together the public and the private sector. So that's industrial companies, universities, cities, of course, at the center of what we do, but also large corporates, startups, also the EU institutions also have a role to play and are in our ecosystem. And by bringing all of these actors together, we ensure that in the end, the solutions are put in place in a fast way, if possible, to basically address the needs and accelerate the transition of the cities. Among the topics we focus on, there are some key topics that, not surprisingly, are around public transportation, health and mobility, the electrification of mobility, mobility data. So a few, let's say, core topics. And CCAM is one of the topics we also deal with and focus on. So I'm particularly happy to moderate this session today, and thanks again for giving me this opportunity. So CCAM, as you probably know, is an extension of ITS, so Intelligent Traffic Systems, which have been around already for quite some time. And really the breakthrough now is that with CCAM, vehicles become connected, and when vehicles become connected, there's the possibility to do cooperation and have even more efficient urban mobility. That's the promise. So it will be quite interesting to see today with the speakers whether this promise is turning into reality, or if there's a perspective of this promise being delivered with CCAM. Our first speaker will be Lara Marcellin from 5T, representing the city of Torino. So maybe if Lara can join me. Welcome,
yes,
Lara.
Here I am.
I'm looking forward to your presentation, and maybe as an opening question, I believe that ITS is already quite well established and well developed in cities, especially in Turin. So what is your expectation of what CCAM brings in addition to ITS and even connected ITS, which I believe is already quite well developed? What do you expect in addition?
Yes, thank you, Matthieu. As you said, Torino is characterized by a technological infrastructure already quite strong, but we are working on the next chapter, and the next chapter is to make this infrastructure available in order to support new services that are made in order to improve safety for all the road users that are in our cities, and also to have a good impact on the traffic flow. So we really believe that this will be the next chapter of our path. So I don't know if I can start with my short presentation.
Absolutely, please do so,
Okay.
Lara.
Okay, thank you. As I said, my name is Lara Marcellin, and I work in 5T. 5T is a public in-house company that provides and make available several services related to the mobility and the infomobility. And this can be done through the Mobility Control Center that we manage on the behalf of our shareholders, that are the municipality of Turin, the Piedmont region, and the metropolitan city of Turin. But but we also design and implement the enabling technological infrastructure that I was talking a few seconds ago, that support these services in Turin and, of course, in the Piedmont region. We tried on this slide a short description of which are these ITS technology that are behind the services. And we have to say that Torino is characterized by a very important infrastructure network spread across the territory, and consists of centralized intersection for traffic control, but also cameras for traffic monitoring, latest generation traffic counter station that are located in the main intersection for detecting vehicle flows and classification. All this technological infrastructure collected through this infrastructure are this technological infrastructure is the one that makes possible to the Mobility Control Center to implement and deliver several intelligent port services, both for public and private mobility. Some examples are the traffic monitoring and control, but also, for example, we manage the enforcement system as the limited traffic zone that we have here in Turin. We collect data, and we also provide this information, this travel information, to our citizen and final user through several platforms that are web or app. Thanks to the experience that and the investment that the municipality of Turin did on this topic, our mobility center was able to increase the functionalities, launching several projects and pilots involving autonomous and connected driving system. Some of this project I have the pleasure to present it today. So we prepared this slide to show the roadmap of the city of Turin when we talk about CCAM. So you can say that starting from 2016 in the city of Turin, we started with some initial project that allowed us to have a structured roadmap with many activities. But I want to underline that there are two aspects on which we worked in order to make this roadmap not a dream, but something concrete. And the first aspect was, of course, to extend the technological infrastructure that I was presenting before with some special aspect that can enable the testing experimentation of the so-called CCAM services. So in particular, what we did was to work on the hybrid V2X communication, and this was possible enabling our services both on the HCG5 protocol, but also on the cellular network. On the other side, we extended the technology in our territory, and this was done increasing the number of roadside units that enable the V2X communication, but also increasing number of cameras for vehicle monitoring and traffic event detection, and also we increased the number of centralized traffic light system in order to provide the real-time data on traffic signal regulation. And these aspects were very important because they made possible to enable the communication between the infrastructure and the connected vehicle, of course, in real time, and that is another special and important aspect. Another key point that we want to underline, that all the experimentation were done taking into account the current regulation. Italy is aligned with the European strategy on CITS, and currently, in order to test the CCAM solution on public roads, is necessary to refer to the so-called Smart Road Decree. That it means that this regulation requires a specific authorization issued by our Ministry of Infrastructure and Transport. And we thought that was important to underline this aspect. But let's talk about the main project that we carried on. The first one, as I said before, was the Torino Smart Road Initiative in 2016. And it was a very important project because it was the first setting out of priority testing of about 35 kilometers. So it's an area that was defined to be dedicated on the development of the technological infrastructural condition to test innovative CCAM technology. In 2018, we had the chance as a city of Turin to participate in a very interesting project called Sea Roads Italy 2. It was a national project. That was aimed to facilitate the exchange of information in real time between the connected vehicle and the mobility control center, this time in real urban traffic condition, enabling the development of services that can have a very strong impact both on safety than on traffic flow. And we have reported in this slide some example of services can be implemented using this kind of technology. When we talk about autonomous driving, and we here in Turin we started with a very interesting project in 2020 that was called Show, and was aimed to deliver an autonomous DRT service in the city of Elf, that is a specific area of the city of Turin. As a 5T, we provide the CITS traffic light information in order to give the priority to the DRT service. More recently, in 2025, with the Into CCAM project, we had the chance to test this kind of technology in real world condition, using, in this case, the focus was to test dynamic traffic management strategies to balance flow and prevent congestion. Last but not least, the project that was introduced by Elena De Ambrogio is the so-called Living Lab to Move. That is a project that was that started more or less 1 year and a half ago, that the city of Turin and the city of Milan won the tender Mass for Italy. This gives us the chance to develop new scenarios of smart and sustainable urban mobility using innovative solutions. This was the goal of the project. To do that, the city of Turin organized a promoting committee that represents the idea of a living lab, because it's made of the city, all the universities that we have here in Turin, but also private foundation dedicated both on the more social aspect and on the technological one. The main goal of the To Move Living Lab is to extend the technological test also on a more social aspect, the one related to the participatory methodology that was applied in order to design and test 3 large-scale demonstrators that are the one that we presented in my last slide. So the goal of the project is to test and develop and test both a digital twin tools that will be used in order to plan in a more smart and sustainable way the mobility here in the city of Turin. The second large demonstrator that want to testing CCAM technology in order to support intermodal mobility, and this will be done integrating an automated demand responsive collective transport solution in the mass ecosystem. This test will start in the next few weeks, and in September we will launch this experimentation also to the final user that will be able to test in real condition this technology. Last but not least, the third large-scale demonstrator will be dedicated to test innovative service and solution dedicated to the last mile logistic. I've finished up. Okay.
Thank you very much, Lara.
Thank you.
Flies, so I will keep my questions for later. Let's see if we have time to cover some questions. I would like, without any further ado, to welcome Kati Borgers from Espoo and Hamburg, representing the city of Espoo in Finland. Kati. Do we have Kati with us today? If not, maybe we would then switch to the third presentation, which in that case would be Johannes Lauer from the city of Hamburg, Strategic Portfolio Manager at New Mobility Solutions Hamburg. We have a message in the chat from Kati saying that she cannot turn on the cam and mic. So yes, I would propose to proceed with the presentation by Johannes. If we fix the technical issues, we'll then go to Kati afterwards. Johannes, welcome. And you're going to tell us about the CCAM initiatives in Hamburg, focused, I believe, mostly on the topic of autonomous driving.
Yes, thank you very much, Matthieu, for the invitation here today. And yes, we have a lot of experience now in the autonomous driving sector. So I have bring you two examples from Hamburg. So the one thing is we can take a look on the cooperative systems we have implemented right now, but also the experience we have right now, especially the look back to the UITP summit with our launch of the autonomous fleet of the Moya autonomous on-demand shuttles. I think it would have a worldwide impact on maybe you see the autonomous Tesla in the United States or the Waymo, and we hopefully have one more actor in the European Union with Volkswagen to get reach these activities. So let me share my screen. So I hope you can see my presentation.
Yes.
Driving the future, Hamburg's path to cooperative and autonomous urban mobility. My name is Johannes Lauer. I am team lead at the company of New Mobility Solutions. We are a daughter company of the second biggest public transport provider in Germany. It's Hamburger Hochbahn, and we are working for the Ministry of Transport here in Hamburg. So we have modal split goals here. You can see the development from 2008 to the target of 2030. We want to reach more share on the new mobility services and decrease the car usage. So this will be also the goal to fulfill the goal for a net zero city until 2045. And so you see from 1990 to 2030, we want to reach savings by CO2 savings by minus 70%. So we have a behind that's called Hamburg Takt. So that means seamless mobility for everyone, and we have an electrification of the buses. We have bike sharing systems, and then the mentioned autonomous shuttles by Moja, but we have also the driver shuttles from Moja. They are already on our streets here, and we have the traditional public transport. We are constructing new subway lines, autonomous subway lines here in Hamburg, and we have also the new mobility service like scooters or the car sharing. So this fulfills mobility systems, and where are we come from? We are implemented in 2015 the ITS strategy and launched a real laboratory together with our ministry where we also had the first testings in autonomous driving. Then we had the ITS World Congress in 2021, where we had a lot of pilots and showcases, also first pilots in autonomous driving. And then we founded the Metropolitan Model Region for Mobility together with our national government, and had some pilot projects here. We were followed by the strategy of digital mobility and the UITP summit I mentioned, and there we have this autonomous shuttle projects implemented. I will go deeper in the later part here. So we have an overall climate plan where we want to reduce our CO2 emission and centralize its mobility transition strategy, but also all these digital initiatives, the Hamburg Takt electrification, ITS digital strategy, our ministries, and also the focus on cycling and walking are important steps towards a sustainable and city where CCAM is one of the parts we can reach these goals. So we had we want to look more deeper in the autonomous and the digital mobility strategy. And there I want to pick out these two development paths we want to fulfill until 2030. So it's on, mentioned in the Torino presentation, also the mobility twins. We have a mobility twin for Hamburg. We have a lot of focus on traffic management. Then our mobility platform, we switch. We have physical switch points, mobility stations around the city, more than 200 right now. And we have also an app where we collect all this data together to make the new mobility services accessible for everyone, together with the Germany ticket, where we have a flat rate for mobility where you don't have to use your own car. So there's also implemented the autonomous shuttles and the digital and suburban underground and suburban railway, the cooperative systems like the CITS test and bus prioritization, and also for the firefighters. Then we have the digital parking management, ports and logistics, and the maintenance. We use, for example, drones. So first we want to look into the CITS context. There we have the cooperative traffic systems, which improve safety and ease on traffic with real-time information. So Hamburg is focusing on the rollout of CITS services like GLOSAR, green light optimization, PVD, TSB, or vulnerable road user protection. And in addition, Hamburg focused on the bus prioritization I told you before. So this is common here right now in place in Hamburg. So when we look on the map, you see on the right the Elbe River in blue and the Alster Lake in the central part of Hamburg, and surrounded we had up to 183 roadside units implemented. The SWACOS is not running right now very good, so we have some problems to struggle here, but we are planned in the context of the C roads, Germany 3 projects to have more 100 roadside units more. So we had a lot of projects in the last years, and you see on the map that's a lot of places where we can use the CITS technology, where we can receive the messages from the infrastructure, for example, for the bus prioritization. Then take a look on the automated driving. There we have 3 key projects. It's the Alike project, the Ahoy, and the Modi project. The Alike and Ahoy project is focused on the people mobility, and the Modi is a logistics project in the port area and the Autobahn. And we have 3 use cases, A to B services, last mile, and logistics. Then we have done the mapping and testing in 24, and this year we have a closed user group testing for the Alike project, which will run into operation in the next year, and then we plan to scale up this in 27 during the next URTP summit, and then we hopefully have a commercialization of the AV mobility services throughout the whole city. So this 3 projects here, you have an overview. The Ahoy project is, for example, a more bigger scaled e-Versum shuttle. You can see here for up to 20, 30 people. And the Alike project right now runs with the ID bus from Volkswagen. This Alike project is a value chain which is crucial right now, where we have 2 apps, the Moja app and the HVV Switch app for Hamburg. Then we have the Moja from software. The operator is Hamburger Hochbahn and Moja, so the public transport provider and the autonomous shuttle provider. And we have 2 shuttle providers with the Holon mover, which will be tested next year, and the Volkswagen, which was presented on the URTP summit, and the self-driving stack from Mobileye in Israel. Yes, that was an overview what's happening right now. So we invite you, everybody, through the next URTP summit in 2027 in Hamburg, but also you maybe can see next year each other in Dubai. And yes, that was a short introduction on Hamburg from my side. And yes, thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Johannes. And I believe we have good news. The technical issues were solved by Kati. Congratulations.
Yes, the engineer managed to refresh the page and make everything work again.
Very nice, very nice. So Kati, you're going to tell us a little bit about the CCAM initiatives in Finland, in Espoo. And I think it's a secret for no one that you have a big telecom giant in the area.
So
I was thinking of another one, but maybe I have bad information. I can definitely imagine a strong interest in bringing connectivity to the topic of urban mobility by this telecom giant, and after connecting people, connecting cars. But was there further motivation beyond the introduction of CCAM in Finland? Can you tell us a little bit what motivated you to investigate that?
Yes, well, maybe just quickly introducing myself. So I'm Kati Borgers, and I work in the mayor's office in our strategy and development unit. So we have group of about 30 experts who look at all things sustainable, and I'm in the sustainable mobility team, and I am maybe looking at these things more from the sustainability and emissions and so on angles, and maybe also looking at the citizens' point of view. But as Hamburg, we have goals for carbon neutrality that are coming up very quickly, and we do believe that we need all the innovation possible to reach those goals, and that's where also CCAM comes in, not just pushed by the local big telecom giants, but also the motivation to find completely new solutions to basically get rid of private cars.
Thank you.
If I go into
presentation.
Yeah, Espoo might not be as much of a household name as Hamburg and Turin, so maybe a few words about what Espoo is like and how does that also kind of guide our way of handling new technology and innovation like CCAM. Espoo has about 320,000 inhabitants, so we're quite small compared to many of the European big cities. We are right next to Helsinki, so that line is actually the border between Espoo and Helsinki. And when you're traveling there with bus or car or whatever, you really don't know. There's also a couple of other cities connected, so it's one big metropolitan area, and the cities are connected. And we co-own the public transport company, which is also in charge of lot of the like mobility planning and innovation, even in the ITS field. HSL, the public company, has been a pioneer in developing open APIs for route planning and for ticketing, and so that has been a driver already for innovation in the area. We have kind of 5 city centers, and then highways and smaller roads and even semi-rural areas around them. So traditionally there have been quite a lot of cars, private cars in Espoo, and that has been one of our challenges. We've invested a lot in rails. We have a city rail network, and we have a subway line, and we have a new tram, high-speed tram. But to get all of this working together and to serve all the areas, new innovation and even new mobility modes are needed. And of course, the whole influence of the larger center of Helsinki is a challenge for us, because the transport network tends to be kind of star-shaped, and every road leads to Helsinki instead of getting you to other places in Espoo. But the geography and liberal land use or something has also worked in our favor. So we have areas where we have centers of real technological development. So Aalto University is the main technical university in Finland, and around its campus it's littered with startups in all possible fields, from like satellite operations to mobility services. And the National Research Center is there, and many companies as well. Most, like half of the Finnish stock market value is in Espoo, so that's the good thing for us. We're also the most rapidly growing city in Finland, second largest at the moment, but and the population is very diverse. We're growing with kids and immigration, but the population is also aging like it is everywhere else in Europe, which brings its challenges to intelligence systems, especially from the kind of user interface point of view. And and the areas are very diverse. So if you want to test new services, we'll go to the autonomy area, because it has lots of young students and early adopters for any kind of service we'd want. And then the city goals, the climate neutrality of 2030 is a big one. And then, being a relatively small city in the grand scheme of things, we've very much taken a cooperative approach to things. So we try to be the best partner in developing smart city and smart mobility services, both in Finland and in larger scale as well. We have quite good national support, for instance, for the autonomous vehicles. We have kind of a one-stop shop where you can apply for your permit to operate autonomous vehicles anywhere in Finland. you need to have a safety driver, but not necessarily even inside the vehicle. So there's some steps that have been taken, and as I show you in a bit, it's starting to be a little bit of business as usual. Then there's some challenges also put by the city strategy of accessibility and equality and leaving nobody behind. So when we are making services even more technological, ever more technological, we also have to think about the digital accessibility for all our citizens. As the other cities, we're eagerly participating in all kinds of projects and cooperating with companies and other cities. As mentioned, there's Nokia, and they are nicely situated next to one of our biggest development areas. There's a whole new city district being developed in the Kera area, and there have been already 7 years ago, there were first pilots about autonomous vehicles, and Nokia in one past project, they built this kind of smart pole road, basically going from the train station to the Nokia headquarters. And they've been opening this up for testing for all kinds of connected services. There could be they have been testing all sorts of sensors for weather. There's a small cellular network, of course, doing the connectivity, and then cameras, new kind of traffic counters, drone operations where you could anticipate collisions and things like that. So there's a nice kind of test bed existing already in Espoo. And right now we're involved in a Horizon project called Mobilities for EU, in which we're testing also autonomous transport of both people and goods. First in Madrid and Dresden, but hopefully then replicating things in Espoo. And as I said, we already about 7 years ago had the first autonomous shuttles running around in Espoo, and the technology seems to work, but then thinking about all the other things that need to be there. So some of the pilots that we've been doing lately have also tackled kind of these aspects. So we've been looking at accessibility for vulnerable user groups. So how do people feel about using autonomous transport, for instance? What if I'm all alone in the vehicle and I fall down and I can't get up? Or what if my baby carriage gets stuck in the door and there's nobody around because it's autonomous and driverless? And doing these kind of things, because I mean, we're all at some point in our lives in a vulnerable user group or lesser mobility group. And then the cost side is also a big thing. There, the cooperation with other cities and looking at how things work in other cities is super important, because a smaller city, we can't necessarily put in money to test things in large scale. But things like driver shortage and so on are also making us think about the cost element and so on. And then Finland, of course, has some challenges which are lesser elsewhere in the world. For instance, what happens in the winter, because all the sensors and that kind of infrastructure outside gets put into a test when the winter comes, and we can have quite a lot of snow, and we need to have the snow plows clearing things, and what do the cameras see, and so on. So we're very, very interested in following what are kind of the next steps. But then on the other hand, autonomous vehicles are very much business as usual. We have had autonomous delivery services for groceries, for instance, for like 3 or 4 years now, and they run almost if the weather gets like super bad, then they will ground the robots. But but they operate on the streets. They share the space with pedestrians, and yeah, they are you just see them every day. It's no longer any kind of pilot or any kind of new thing. It's normal operations, and this of course is an interesting thing for the city as well. We've been quite happy to cooperate with the operations. For instance, Espoo has a lot of the pedestrian crossings where you have to push a button to cross the road, and that has been a problem for the robots. They in the first pilot they asked people to press the button for them, which was quite cute, and it actually, I think it actually added acceptance of autonomous vehicles within the Espoo people. But then yeah, connecting them to our traffic light control system was then the first step to integrate them into the city traffic management as well. But then yeah, in the future, and now there was a drone operation as well, delivering groceries with drones. They don't have to worry about the roads that much, but it's interesting to see this autonomous deliveries proliferating everywhere. But then when there are going to be all the grocery store chains and so on will be delivering by robots, how will this thing scale, and will we actually have to start thinking about city planning completely differently, that instead of having lanes for cars and bicycles and pedestrians, should we have a robot lane or a micro-mobility lane or something like that? And this is kind of the interesting things that we get to think about at the city. And that's pretty much it from me. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Kati. I correct my pronunciation. And I would like to invite Johannes and Lara to join us again. Kati, you may stay as well. And I would have actually quite a few questions, but we have only 10 minutes left. So I will, let's say, select only the hottest questions that I wrote down. My first question is for all of you. So I wrote down that you mentioned pretty much consistently common topics in terms of improvements that you expect from CCAM. You've talked about safety, you've talked about traffic flow, you've talked about environment. So what I would like to ask you is, what kind of improvements, first of all, how would you measure these improvements, and what kind of improvements are you expecting from CCAM on these different topics? And to make the question even more complex, how is that dependent on the extent of adoption of CCAM between just a few vehicles having CCAM to full adoption of CCAM? Are the improvements very sensitive to how many percent of the vehicles are actually implementing CCAM? Anybody is free to take the question. Otherwise, I nominate someone.
I can start if you want to, because we have a little experience on that here in Hamburg. Because yes, right now, for example, we can see where are the CCAM vehicles are driving around, because we have certain tours. Also, we did them during the UITP summit, and we have an app where we can see where are these vehicles are. This can be the CITS buses. This can be the firefighters, which use this technology for have the green wave during the driving, and we have also the ID vehicles from Volkswagen right now. So it's just a small group, and I think if there will be an increase for in the whole city area, we will expect next year with the Alike project, when we have up to 20 autonomous vehicles which will be on Hamburg streets all the time, or in during the daytime, I think, in the beginning. But it will be new because the old projects, they had just certain roads, and right now the ODD is the whole inner city part. So it's very big, and I expect there are some changes, and also expect the more dynamic traffic management and routing, better decision making, also more safety and more predictable traffic in the future from that systems. I think these are very important steps to go to make the traffic flow smoother and bring the people away from their own cars into the public transport, because it will be more flexible.
And if I can continue a little bit from Johannes's this idea that kind of what the city's role is in developing the whole CCAM thing, and one of the things that we've been wanting to do with already what we have now, like traffic counters, and now we're testing sensors on the bike paths and things like that, and we've taken the view that we need to open all the data. So we need to have the data to know better, like Johannes said, but we also want to open the data for everyone else, for companies to come up with like new kind of. There's now all these new kinds of AI based solutions on what could be done with the data that we already have. So in the future as well, having the data available for not only for the city, but for everybody else who operates within the city or wants to develop things in the city. That's something that we see as very important.
If I can, I will follow the topic suggested by Kati, and also the city of Turin really believe in this open data approach. And one thing that we did in the Living Lab project was to open our infrastructure and data as well to companies that want to test in real traffic condition, real urban condition, their solution. So I think that also thanks to this cooperation between public and private, we can reach better results in a shorter time. And as you say, the KPI are quite difficult to measure at this time, but what we see is that the number of connected vehicles in general are growing, and we expect that this data to grow faster in the future. So working on the technological infrastructure from our point of view is like a very good things for the next future. So we will be ready for this.
Thank you, Lara. I would like to bounce back on the topic of open data. We've seen the topic of data already having a huge impact on the information technology. This has transformed our lives. This is not yet very developed in the urban mobility area, or not to the same extent as in telecommunications, the internet, and our daily lives. But what we have learned from the world of telecommunications and IT in general is that data has become basically like gold, and lots of money is made on data, with some negative consequences that I think we all see in terms of privacy, in terms of our data being used without us knowing it. But this is the business model that has established itself in the world of telecommunications. So my question now is, you've mentioned, several of you in your presentations, that there's significant amount of equipment which is needed to support CCAM. So this comes with a high cost. And what is your view on the economic model of CCAM? Who pays for all of these equipments?
I try to start, but then I will leave the floor to the other colleague. Of course, at this time is a public-private investment in which what we can see for the public side is working much more on the infrastructural side of the model, while the private should be involved more on the side of the vehicle. So of course it's a huge investment that has been done in this time, but as we said before, the benefits that we can see in the next future regarding safety and regarding better traffic condition can be, well, hopefully reached thanks to this investment.
Yeah, and like with any technology, what you would want to see is basically productivity improvement. So as I said, we have driver shortages, but also if we can get rid of some of the cost factors in the equation of the mobility, then maybe we can actually get some productivity increases to offset the investments. And especially like in the logistics, the prognosis for the growth of logistics and the amount of vehicles on Espoo roads is huge. It's much bigger growth than in the private vehicles or something. And I think there, for instance, there would be a lot to do to make things more productive, and then reap also cost benefits. So it's not just massive investments.
Very clear. Thank you.
Yep. Maybe we are lucky. We have, for example, Volkswagen. They have a great impact, and they have their own ODD. They have their self-driving stack, and they have their own data ecosystem bring with them. And but in the future, we also have to struggle because we want to implement it in the public transport system, and we are looking forward to have automated bus lines. So this may be a use case which will be beneficial for us when we have bigger facilities can use. But the infrastructure implementation is too expensive. So we have it all placed in the car or in the bus.
Thank you. So I think this is all the time we have for today. I would have had several other questions, but they will be for another time. And thanks a lot from my side for all three of you for your great presentations. And I would like to hand over back to Elena.
Yeah, thank you very much to all of you. I think that this discussion was very useful. I see that we are very much aligned in the objectives, also targeting climate neutrality towards 2030, and also in the approaches, so putting together public and private sector and using our cities really as a test bed, not only for technologies, but for new services and the benefits of our citizens. So I think that our dialogue will continue a long time, and I really invite other cities and other interested parties to join us in the coming episodes of the webinar. And I also take the opportunity to invite, of course, you, Johannes, Matthieu, Kati in Torino, and all the participants on the 3rd and 4th of December, when we will host our in-person Cities Innovate conference, and also the ceremony, the awards ceremony of the next European Capital of Innovation. So thank you very much. Please feel free to contact us back. As usual, you will find in the coming days the registered webinar on our social on YouTube of Torino City Lab. Thank you very much again, and see you next time.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Goodbye from Hamburg.